So let's talk Scotland 27, Australia 13. Welcome to this match report supported by Sports News Blitz. This was the win that Scotland wanted. They were disappointed against South Africa. They threw plenty of attack against them, couldn't score. Against Australia, they broke through, scored some really good tries. Australia, there's plenty of fight, but maybe a little bit tired from their long year. Some injuries didn't help, and also Scotland were absolutely ferocious in every area of the game, particularly that back row of Darge, Ritchie, Fagerson, so quick, and they dominated the game from 20 minutes till the end really. Australia had a good first 20 and then run out of puff. Now it was immediately the world's worst start to a game. Lolosio's kick-off went only a few metres, Hugh Jones knocks it on, it can only get better, and it did. Australia, they settled into their attacking shapes nice and quick. Interesting that Williams withdrawing, they had to start with their biggest second rows really, Skelton and Salakai Lotto. Big carrying available there, maybe not quite as agile in the line-out, but certainly those big carries in the first 20 minutes really helped. Scotland were going very hard at the breakdown, incredibly hard. Ritchie and Cummings get pinged though. Australia have the first big chance from 10 metres. Again going hard at the breakdown, but this time it pays off for Scotland as a big maul breaks off and Valentina gets isolated, and it's actually wee Darcy Graham who gets the jackal. But after a good play there, immediately pinged by not straight from Ashman. He did a few throws that were a bit squint in this game, didn't help, and Australia went on some good phases. Those big carries from Angus Bell, Sawalihi forces a penalty for an easy 3 points, so that is 0-3 after a few minutes. Now the first good chance for Scotland was on 30 minutes as they throw a big long pass to the back. Tazana goes off his feet. They turn down 3 points, which they do a lot, go to the maul, and then there's acres of space out on the right for Darcy Graham if Finn Russell can find him with the chip, but he gets his angles a bit wrong. That could have been a try there. To be fair, Australia are absolutely rushing Russell at every single opportunity, just rushing him there a little bit. An interesting thing to note about Murrayfield is that the in-goal areas are absolutely massive. They could be even bigger. I think they were bigger back in the day in the 80s, etc., but still they're massive compared to most pitches. And now with a new law where if you dot it down from a kick, it's a goal line dropout, it makes just kicking it long much more useful, and Russell does this quite a few times, meaning that Australia opt to clear the ball rather than dot it down, and Scotland get a number of good attacking lineouts. But their passing is a bit loose on this occasion, as it was a few times in this match. Eventually they got it together, but it was starting to look a little bit tricky with the passing, a bit behind, a bit too far in front, as they weren't quite executing. On 18 minutes, Australia are definitely trying to run a bit from deep, but what they're doing is running a few phases and then chipping over the top for Sawalihi to chase onto, and he's trying to win that ball. A bit too keen on the second chase, and he's offside. And then some back chat, not sure who it is, maybe Wright, and the extra 10 metres actually puts Russell in goal-kicking range in front, but he pushes it a bit and it hits the post. So there's been a lot of rugby, but it's still 0-3 after about 20 minutes. But then we get our first try on 20 minutes. It's a massive long throw from Ashman, and Australia just don't tackle Tuipulotu. It's as simple as that. Tuipulotu comes straight and hard. You've got Kellaway and Ikitau both lined up for the tackle, and he just smashes straight through them. That's a bit more painful as it looks like Kellaway's been moved into the 10 channel to be a better defender than Lolosio, but it doesn't work. He goes through Kellaway, and then Ikitau I think is a little bit surprised by that, and he can't make a good shot. So great try there for Tuipulotu, but some horror tackling for Australia, and a few of tries conceded by Australia were from pretty bad tackles actually. We've got the Wizard of Oz, Sawalihi, defying gravity to win the kick-off again. He wins a penalty straight away. Of course they turn down the points, go to the corner, but Gilchrist a big line-out steal. So Scotland, yes, they attacked well in this game at times, but they also defended ferociously. Some big plays there. And the game's a really good contest, attack v defence. Australia seemed to have the edge in the bulk, but then that speed of the Scottish pack, particularly with Ritchie and Darge and Matt Fagerson in the back row. They probably would have started with Dempsey if he was fit, but it kind of worked out here as they're just that bit quicker around the park. Now on the half hour, Australia persist with the chip attack, trying to get Sawalihi to win the ball back, but in the end it's just giving the ball back to Scotland, and Australia are kind of wasting their attacks in a way. They're not getting time on the attack, and Scotland get into their best offloading of the game. Graham getting into the game with good pace, but Penguamosa with a vital jackal. Then potentially quite a big moment for Australia. Sawalihi smashes Tuipulotu. They have a bit of a disagreement about it, but it looks like Sawalihi has hurt himself in that big tackle and he goes off permanently. So that's a massive blow as they have to shift Kellaway into the centre, Jorgensen onto the wing, and they don't carry quite the same threat from then on. Anyway, 33 minutes, Scotland continues to go side to side to stress this Australian defence. Xander Fagerson carrying big up the middle as well. The ruck ball is fast, it's unrelenting. Good Australian tackling, but the speed of play just is too fast. Bell was on the wrong side. It's a penalty, and of course, they turned down the 3 points. Now, in the end, Scotland obviously win, but they did turn down a lot of points. It's a 5-metre line out, but the Scottish knock it on. So, painful there. It's only 7-3 at half-time, and I think Australia will take that because Scotland had the bulk of the possession. Just after half-time, Scotland are committed to turning down kicks at goal, it seems, but then Ashman throws a really bad, not straight, a very short throw. So, on the next penalty, they actually take the points, so it goes 10-3. But then Tizano is straight on the jackal from the kickoff, and they get 3 points straight back, 10-6. Scotland are very ambitious off their lineouts. Their passing is very wide. There's lots of loop arounds, but it's a little bit off again. Now, White goes behind Russell, then it goes too far in front of Kinghorn from Graham, and then they back it up with a scrum penalty for Australia. And Australia get a chance to exert some pressure for the first time, but Wilson is just maybe a bit too keen, comes onto the ball too fast, they can't catch it, and the chance is gone, and Scotland counter-attack very quick, side through the slow Australian forwards who aren't expecting this counter-attack. Kinghorn makes a half break, pops off the floor, Ben White chips and chases, there's a collision with Wright, it looks like there might be a penalty, but on review, Wright has literally just held his ground, hasn't gone into White, and there's no foul play, it is the right call. But Scotland are pressing, they're pressing for their extra try. Their quick back row, Fakes and Richie Darge acting like extra backs as well, so they're moving the ball around left to right really nicely now. Russell is that running threat, and on 49 minutes, Australia are looking at all the options, they forget Russell is a threat, he half breaks and they go width, and eventually Van der Merwe has an overlap. They're running across, Gordon there gets stepped a bit easily, but he has to chase across, and we have that try. Finally, the breakthrough for Scotland, 17-6. Australia don't give up, they're trying to get back into the game, but the Scottish defence is really fired up. Maybe too much on 53 minutes as Fagerson can't help but play the ball on the ground. And like the Ireland game, players just can't adapt to the new law that says you can't dive on a ball just out of a ruck if it squirts out. They get a penalty to Australia. Australia turn down the points, they go to the corner, they must score, but the maul goes nowhere. It's held up. Then Scotland get a scrum penalty, so big win for the Scottish forwards. So that was a big moment. Even though it was a comfortable win in the end for Scotland, there were some big moments where they had to hold out. And Jamie Ritchie absolutely everywhere. I think man of the match went to Kinghorn, but I'd probably give it to Ritchie actually because he hasn't been first choice for a while now and he made a big statement in this game. Anyway, Australia on 63 minutes get a big chance as the Scottish line-out gets disrupted by Salakai Lotto and Valentini just hacks downfield, but McDermott, his cross-field kick isn't really the right option as Scotland are in a bit of disarray and Tuipulotu marks the ball. Then on 66 minutes, the killer blow. It's a great try. Of course, Scotland go wide off a line-out. The passes aren't great to start with. Hugh Jones is checked, but somehow Darcy Graham, the magic man, ducks and slips past Kellaway. The second missed tackle for him, very costly, but he wasn't really meant to be playing in the centre. Anyway, Graham shows great pace and vision to side through and find Josh Bayliss, the sub-flanker, wide on the right. Icky Tau, a tired effort at tackle as well, and Bayliss finishes a worldie. So Australia will be gutted, slipping off tackles, but it is good attack from Scotland. 22-6, they're buzzing, they've got all the momentum. Kinghorn, his turn to step and break, but Lange Gleeson seems to rip the ball, but it's no good because on the next attack, another worldie of a try. Van der Merwe comes to the party. He breaks through another poor tackle. I think it was Salakai Lotto. He has him lined up. He just can't tackle him. Kinghorn, Jones, Russell combine really nicely to shred the scrambled defence. So it's 27-6. The game is basically gone. The impact sub is on for Australia. Take McDermott, who has been an absolute key for Australia, and he does make things happen. Nice line-out move and a grubber from him. And lightning pace from Harry Potter. I mean, he literally conjures up magic, you have to say it. Gathering the bouncing ball to dot it down just in time. So 27-13. Australia didn't give up, but they did get shredded eventually. Just too much Scottish attack. Good win for Scotland. That's what they wanted to finish this autumn series on. Australia are going to have to pick themselves up. They've got one more massive game. Do they have the energy? We will see against Ireland. But pop those comments down below about this game. Like, subscribe. That would be awesome. And I'll catch you next time.